Well, what's up folks, it's Fuzz here, welcome back to the channel. It's Monday, which means we have another FIFA 23 custom tactics video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 5-2-1-2, my personal favourite formation over the past 2 years. As FIFA 22 comes to a close, this might be the second and last custom tactics video we have for this game. We'll have some stuff tailored towards FIFA 23 before the launch, but I wanted to go back to the formation that really kicked things off for my love of creative formations back at probably is the end of FIFA 20, start of FIFA 21. So this is going to be the 5-2-1-2 post-patch, best settings you can use right now. I know not as many people are on the game, but this was still very effective, and this was the team that we were using. So before we dive into it, if you do enjoy the video, please do a thumbs up on it. It's greatly appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here as well. I know like 95%, maybe more of you guys aren't subscribed, so please hit that subscribe button, help the channel grow. It would be greatly appreciated. And now let's take a look at the custom tactics. So we're going to be playing press after possession loss with 43 width and 70 depth. I've discussed this a lot in the past. For the 3 at the back or 5 at the back systems, I love to try and get at least 70. You can get away with it a bit more when you have a 5 at the back, because obviously you have wing backs rather than a right mid and left midfielder, which means you can be a little bit more aggressive. I personally think 70 is the bare minimum you should run with a 5-2-1-2, and it is the sweet spot. 43 width works well. We've discussed before how 35 is kind of where you want to be whenever you've got a system that has 3 centre backs to try and reduce like the width between people. But I settled on 43 this time, and it worked quite well. We've got really like high-end, like end-game meta centre backs at the minute, so we can get away with this extra width. Like you look at Gomez, Chiellini, and Rudiger, they're all rapid. They can all cover that space. The defending stats are maxed out. That space isn't as much of a worry anymore. On the offense, we are playing long ball and direct passing with 53 width. Again, 10 is the max difference I'd have between the defensive width and the offensive width. I like trying to max that out at the minute, especially in a system like this where we have wing backs, and we've known through FIFA 21 and FIFA 22 that a 4-back system with fullbacks doesn't track the runs of wingbacks properly, and you can get so much space. So not going crazy on the width, but making sure it's at that plus 10 difference is definitely good. And then we have 6 players in box, 3 corners and free kicks. This isn't normally what would sort of be ran. However, it is near the end of the game, and you can kind of get away with being a bit more aggressive in this front. Like if this was like back in the very first 3 months of the game, you'd probably run something similar to this. But you can up these a little bit now, and you don't really get punished for it too much. And that's the tactics we're going to use, and we'll look at sort of the personnel and then the instructions for personnel. There's 2 ways you can really do your back line. Technically 2 with a bit of variance on the fullbacks. You can either run 3 centre backs, and as personally what I go for is what worked in this system. You can then run 2 centre backs with a fullback. So for example, I could remove Gomez here, and I could play Theo Hernandez, for example, as centre back, and that would work. Then on the wing back side of things, what I prefer to do now is, because we've got the cracked players, is basically run a wing back, and Pereira and Valverde are great examples of this, who have good passing, good dribbling, good shooting. Like they can basically act as a right mid and left mid with how good the cards are. Your alternative here is maybe keep Valverde in the team, and then you could run someone like Chiesa or Bale even, and you might look at me like, why are you using your winger at wing back? You'll see in the gameplay and the instructions, these guys get involved with the whole build up quite a lot, and having that balance of one actual winger who can kind of do a bit of defending and then a full-on fullback can work well. I think at the minute, with how like the meta and the power curve in the game is, 3 centre backs and 2 fullbacks just makes sense because of the stats, and then you can just absolutely stack your attack. The midfield, you want 2 proper box-to-box players. You don't want like a Kante here who's going to be on stay back. Like we may have instructions like that on, but you still want it to be a box-to-box player who has the capabilities of doing anything that's required in the pitch. Renato Sanchez and Barella are perfect examples of this. And in the top 3, you can use any combination really of, you could have 3 strikers in this, you could have 2 strikers and center forward, you could have 2 wingers and a striker. Like you can kind of do whatever you want as long as you have 1 striker in the system. I think if you run 3 wingers here, which some people like to do at the start of the game for the pace, the shooting can net you down a little bit, so just be aware of that. Obviously these cards are 97, 97, 99, they're absolutely cracked, and this combination with Messi in the cam is really good. For the instructions, we have the goalkeeper on comes for crosses and sweeper keeper, and then we don't change anything with the 3 centre backs. The comes for crosses and sweeper keeper is personal preference. Feel free to change that to default if you wish. I tested it for this system and I quite like it. I flip between it depending on what I'm feeling. And you know, 5-back systems, I kind of like having a keeper who's keen to come out in case I do get caught. with a through ball. For the wing backs on the left hand side, you're going to be running fully default, not touching anything, and then the same applies for the right hand side. Now, there are a few different options you can try on this if you want to. There is join the attack and the option for stay back. Often with wing backs, you want to go join the attack. You can go aggressive interceptions. You can go overlap, which is common, but I find this year default and mixed run types are the best. And then step up was the new one. Now, at the start of the game cycle, what I would do is run join the attack and step up, but this time I decided just to test it unbalanced, and I really liked it. There were some cases where maybe I'd prefer to have one of these players on step up and join the attack, or maybe have one on step up and the other join the attack, just to get that little bit extra aggression. But you know, play with this system as the base, have it all on default, and then sort of make that adjustment as you see fit if you need to for your games. I would avoid putting both of them on join the attack and step up though, because stamina will drain and you will get hit with people abusing the space that forms down that wing. Then for the midfielders, our left hand side is actually going to be our get forward and get into the box or cross. And I know I've always used to say that I always use the left hand side as my stay back, but in this case we don't actually have anyone to stay back, so this is just what I felt would be most fitting for my system. I found with the 5-2-1-2 recently, having that left player get forward, because for whatever reason the right wing back seems to get a little bit more involved in the play, just however the AI naturally happens for it. So get forward and get into the box for Barella. Obviously he is 5-star, which is why I've often have him there rather than Renato Sanchez. And then for Sanchez, literally just all defaults except for the supporting crosses, which just stay on edge the box or cross. And we always discuss how we don't want to have basically all the midfield going into the box and then having this fat gap that can be caused between like where the defensive line is and everyone just getting stacked into the box. Having Renato here along with the wing backs, it'll kind of hold their space around the edge of the box. It means you've kind of got like 3 people around the edge of the box that can track back with your 3 centre backs, and then you've got 4 people in and around the box, and it works quite nicely. For Messi, who's going to be your cam, you're going to want to stay forward and get into the box across. This is a standard set up for the cam. This is what I've sort of used all year. You do have the option of putting aggressive interceptions on. Messi's stamina and just obviously his physicals aren't quite built for that, so that's why I wanted to leave him on that. My right striker is just straight up getting behind, and then my left striker is my stay central, stay forward, getting behind, which has been pretty commonplace all year. So that's the tactics, the personnel, and the instructions all covered. Let's jump into some of the gameplay. So this first game was a 2-0 win. For whatever reason, the person scored an own goal at the start, but then didn't pause and give me the win and continued to play properly. It was a bit of a weird one, but we do score a nice little goal, and we'll showcase that. Just to showcase, this is kind of a good example of the defensive shape you will have. It does play, obviously it is a 5 at the back, it does play with this 5 flat back line with then 2 midfielders sort of roaming, and then your three attackers will sort of sit clumped. You'll sometimes have one of them maybe drop a little bit, probably sit maximum because he's not on stay forward. He'll come the deepest out of them all, but really you are wanting them 3 to be ready for a counter attack, and you're relying on these 7 for the defensive side of things. You can see as he tries to make it's very hard to break through a 5 at the back system. I say as I drag a player out, but there's plenty of coverage available. And if you're wondering what it is like from a transition point of view, obviously we have been on the attack and we've just lost the ball here. You can see the little like radar, the minimap at the bottom. This is Valverde, who's just above the 30 that I'm circling, and then this is Pereira, who is selected right now. That's Renato Sanchez in the middle, and then Barella had been going into the box. So you can see it sort of becomes a 3 at the back system in the attack, which is why I like the 5-2-1-2 so much, because these wing backs are now going to track back naturally, and you still have 3 people ready to sort of hold the space. And again, I've dragged out Rudiger, which is a big mistake. I was playing very aggressive in this game, but that's an idea of how the shape will be, and then obviously we managed just to chase him down and get the interception in. Can't lie, the goal's a little bit lucky in this system. I always play a lot of 1-2s in the 5-2-1-2. You do need to do this. The fact this fell to Wijnaldum, it was a lovely finish, but how it fell to him was a little bit lucky. But that's an idea of sort of just a little bit of basic build up. Obviously we won the ball back here, little 1-2 between the midfielders. Sorry, it was Maximin, not Wijnaldum. And then it just falls to my right striker, and you know, we take those opportunities. Next up, we have a 3-run reg quit. I'll show all 4 goals in this because I think it will be an example of the sort of goals you can concede. That's an idea of something. He was offside, but this is something to note about the width. This is why I found 43 to be best, because it meant I had someone there to cover. But if you're moving your centre backs around, and obviously you've got a wing back, and if they send someone on a run, you run the chance of this gap forming in the middle. Luckily Gomez was going to get there to cover, and he was offside, but just that is where you'll probably see people target. If you've pulled a fullback forward, or if you had the fullbacks on, step up and join the attack, that kind of thing, those are the sort of 3 balls you might get hit and penetrated from. I don't know if I score from this. I think I do. I think we just chip it back to Mbappe. Really nice link up from the front three for this goal. Honestly, this is a good example of we've got the ball here with Valverde. Going to send a 1-2. We do want him to get involved again, so I wait for that run. We try to push forward with him again. We've sent him on another like L1 run just to drag a player. Messi, as the cam, has got into the pocket of space, and then just a little tap across for Mbappe. That's a very common way to attack with the wing backs in this system. So this goal's a nice bit of play from him. Obviously, he's beating Gomez, who's come out to support Pereira. Obviously, had been in the attack. Gomez has pulled out a left centre back to come and support. Pereira's now back here. Nice little link up play, honestly, from Sterling. I pulled Chiellini poorly. My now makes a save and it falls to Betty Pele. There's not too much there. Obviously, I shouldn't have pulled Chiellini out. This isn't so much on the system, I'll be honest. Like, this box is stacked. It just so happens it falls to him and he gets the tap in, and I shouldn't have put Chiellini. It'd be one of those. This is going to be somewhat of a counter attack. The stage of this game, it was very back and forth, so the shape's a little bit stretched, but you can see here we do have 4 players back in the defensive side of things. It seems to be Valverde, and then the 3 centre backs. Pereira, you can see, has been up in the attack, but we win the ball back with Renato Sanchez, and instantly the team are eager. Pereira is going to be making runs into spaces to drive players out. We managed to get it into the middle. Nice little bit of passing. A little bit lucky again that shot comes back to Barella, but I think the build-up was the main thing to showcase here. Obviously, we've lost the ball. Renato Sanchez, our centre mid, who's stay on the edge of the box, managed to win it back, and that's why, honestly, like, we weren't in the box, but you can see the sort of distance. Here's Barella. You can push with him. Renato Sanchez, brilliant box-to-box option, gets in there. Using the fullback, little 1-2s with the midfielders. Obviously, this is the attacking 3, all making runs. I say we got a little bit lucky it fell to us, but you know, you have to take those opportunities. The game was very back and forth. This is a very good example of it. We got the ball, it was a per pass by him, just pumped that through ball to see it maximum, and then I just went for the chip, and you know, you got to appreciate those sort of goals. This is the last gameplay we have here, and this is just the link up between the cams and the 2 strikers. Because Mbappe, who's on get back in behind, has just naturally made this run. We've got a cam in there that can just chip it through, and then on the volley, absolutely splendid finish. I mean, you can't ask for more from the link up play and the finish. This final clip is kind of to show where you might want to have to join the attack or the step up on your players. So obviously we won the ball back here with Renato Sanchez, and I'm not staying still with the ball. I'm slowly moving forward with it to try and give my team that opportunity to get into space. You can kind of see this is common actually in real life for the 3-back systems to have the central defender step into the position a little bit, or when it's going wide, they'll drop back. So obviously he's stepping into that position, offering options, and you can see the wing backs are very even here, but they're not aggressed too much. If they were on joining the attack, where he's at right now, he'd probably be at the halfway line. Like, honestly, he would be a bit more active in that. And they do start to make runs. Obviously, Pereira was here for a wide ball if needed, but it wasn't like overly aggressive. We managed to run through a score with Messi anyway, but that's just something to be aware of. It didn't hinder me there, and it would have been very easy actually to turn around with Messi and play a pass to the likes of Pereira. Obviously, if Valverde was in space, I could have played it to him and straight to the pitch, but look how much space Pereira has here. Obviously, he's not going to score at this pass, but all I have to do is play like an aggressive through ball here, catch this player out. Obviously, I'll probably have to angle it a bit more that way, not risk it too close to him, but it instantly means this player is going to drag. It allows Mbappe to make a little run. Honestly, what you'll see here a lot is playing this pass to Pereira, pressing L1 so he runs, play the pass into him, press L1 as he's running onto it so that Mbappe makes a run into this bit of space, like just in here, makes a little loop and run, and then you'd be able to play one out to Pereira, chip it in through to Mbappe, then he would take the near post shot, or then play it back to Messi. But as I say, obviously they're all getting behind, they managed to pull the space, he's dragging defenders for days, and we score with Messi, and that rounds off the gameplay for the 5-2-1-2. So guys, that's everything for the 5-2-1-2. As I say, that is been my favourite formation for the past 2 years on FIFA. I'd say it's always been a staple of mine. Obviously, I test so many different formations to give you guys lots of different options, but 5-2-1-2 is one that I'll commonly always have there in case I'm having a tough game and I need to switch into it. It's old familiar, and honestly, it's not a formation you'll get stale with too quickly. You'll be able to use this for probably a couple of months before you feel like, I need to change. Obviously, we are nearing the end of FIFA, so like you can use this for the last. I'd honestly take these formations and maybe the couple of others. I posted a 4-2-2-2, a 4-1-2-1-2, and a 4-2-3-1 recently. Go watch all of those and we build those 4 formations. So 5-2-1-2, 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, 4-2-3-1, and the 4-2-2-2. I'd build those 4 formations right now and just test them up for the final couple of weeks of the game, and then pick say 2 of them that you want to use as your starting formation going into FIFA 23, and I promise you it will help. Regardless of the slight changes in how the game plays, knowing which formation you want to play and mainly how that system works, because although they may make AI changes, the systems will play very similar. Like over the past 3 FIFAs when I started playing properly, although we've had changes, obviously this year we've been able to do more like settings to how we want to attack and whatnot, but still overall the formations play similar. So get familiar with that, test them out. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this video. If obviously if it helps you get extra wins, please let me know. I love getting that feedback. If there's anything you think needs tweaked with it, also let me know. I'll take that into mind for the future videos. So hit that like button if you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. Getting excited for FIFA 23 is very close now, and I'll have to mix up some new content for you guys very soon. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.